and welcome to GCU Reviews.
Getting closer.
What's hot and what's not.
Getting closer.
Bye.
Getting closer.
Hey guys, I'm Dee.
And I'm Danielle.
And welcome to
GCU Review.
Where today we are doing the movie Choose or Die that's streaming on Netflix. And it took a minute for me to get into it. But
Yeah, this is one of our, I guess it's going to be the last selection of the month for spooky movies.
Yeah.
We did a vampire movie last time.
Yep.
And now we did something as in the horror genre, but Choose or Die is, I don't really know how else to explain it besides saying it's a video game.
It's a horror video game.
That just the things that happen in the game.
A real life horror video game.
Yes, like things that happen in the game start happening in real life. So a long time ago, I remember Choose Your Adventure books when I was a kid. Yeah. So like you'd say, well, you have two choices at the end and you'd flip to page 32 if you want to go in the woods.
Okay.
Or you flip to page 3 if you
She
don't
always
go in the
connects
woods.
the dots for me. Nowadays.
And there was also like some old school video games where it was very similar, where you type in the options and it was like in a story mode.
Right.
So that's what this game is, except this game is cursed, and the game is called Cursed.
It's one of those. It's not like a up to date. It's one of those.
It's a game from the 80s.
From the 80s, yeah.
Yes. So you got two young people, Kayla. Yes, who's played by Iola Evans.
I like her.
I like her a lot too. She was also in The 100, if you watch that show.
Yep.
And then also Asa Butterfield as her friend, who wants to be more than friends.
Right.
He trying to get closer than close.
She ain't feeling it.
She wasn't checking for him though.
Because it was a best friend type situation. Sometimes you don't want to cross that line.
Sometimes you don't want to cross the line.
Because I know I'm going to lose you as a friend.
But his character is Isaac. And he loves the 80s, loves everything about the 80s, and collects a lot of memorabilia from the 80s. He's very tech savvy, as is Kayla. Mm-hmm. And he comes across this game from the 80s that he thought was like a choose your adventure game. And so he bought it. He didn't really have any... He didn't have any purpose in it as far as just collecting it. But then Kayla comes across it and is curious and decides to call the phone number on the cassette tape. And when they call that number, there's a very familiar voice on the line. And that is Robert Englund, who many of you will know as Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
He always got little cameos in different type of kind of horror movies. And so just so you can keep your eye out of, hey.
Yeah, he does. He shows up in a lot of stuff.
Don't go to sleep.
Man, I don't know. I had no business watching those movies when I did. It was a rite of passage, though.
Nobody else. We didn't either. Then you scared to go to sleep, and you think Freddy coming.
Go come up through the bed with the nails.
But back in the day, we did. We watched scary movies.
We watched everything.
Everything that came out, we watched because that was our entertainment.
That was it. So,
but now they got video games, but bet you won't play this one.
No, and me personally, I wouldn't have messed with the tape. I'd have been like, oh, wow, that's nice. But she calls it, and Robert Englund's voice is on the line, and he describes a game that if you play it, there is an unclaimed $100,000 prize.
Right.
And so this game has been going on since the 80s. And nobody has claimed a $100,000 prize. And so she gets curious because Kayla and Isaac both live in, they young people, they're poor, they live in a very poor area. Kayla's mom has had a hard time in life.
In the hood.
Yes, she lost her baby brother in a drowning accident at the pool when he was like 10 or 11 years old.
And she was watching him. So that's what really kind of affected her because she was watching him. She said she turned around for 2 seconds and then boom, he was drowning. So
she's carrying a lot of guilt from that. Her mom, since that happened,
has not really
hasn't recovered.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it started an addiction. And so she's pressed for money.
Right.
They live in a rat infested apartment building. It's, not good conditions for any of them. So she's intrigued by the idea of winning $100,000. and decides to take the game from Isaac and put it in her computer and play it.
Child.
Problem is, in the intro of the movie, we are introduced to a guy and his wife and his son.
Right.
And these are the people who are opening up to us as the viewers what this game really does. Because he puts the game into his computer, he starts to play it, he kind of lives in a man cave,
right.
and he starts to play it, he kind of lives in a man cave,
right.
and his wife hates him, his son hates him because he doesn't do anything but
sit in that man cave.
Obsess about the 80s and play his video games in his man cave.
A lot of men back in the 80s never grew up.
I would venture to say I didn't grow up very much either. Besides, I pay bills and stuff. I take care of myself, but I still watch cartoons.
But some of them are stuck.
Some of them are stuck, and he was very much stuck. And so he puts the game in, and it starts out by saying, "You want to take a drink?" And he's like, "Okay, sure."
Okay, sure.
And he takes a drink of his beer, and it says, "You take a sip of your beer."
Yep.
And everything, it starts to plot out everything that's happening in real life.
And he's like, "You got a beer. Here's another," and the beer just
magically appears. Up. It gives him the option to drink another beer, to get another beer, or leave the room. Like, and it just pops up on the desk. But then things go left.
And right.
And
back again.
And back and kind of upside down. Because then it starts giving options. While his wife and son are arguing in the living room, her face or his tongue.
Yep.
Or something like that. And then it says choose or die.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, fine. And he types tongue, and his wife
has a whole butcher knife and then chopped off the boy's tongue. I don't know what happened.
The game is controlling everybody in real life.
What?
And it's controlling it based on the options it gives in the game. And it's not a game anymore. It becomes very apparent
it's real life.
That it's not a game anymore.
Yeah.
So things escalate, obviously, and he keeps having to make options because the game really needs it. If you don't choose one of the options it gives you, you will die. And if you try to intervene with any of the options it gives you, there's like a high-pitched sound that comes in. It's like a head-splitting sound.
Yeah, they're one of them high-pitched, like when your radio station goes, that one.
Yeah, and so you kind of don't have a choice anymore. Once you're locked into the game, you're locked into the game. And so that was level 1 for him. And apparently he beat the game at some point because what happens when you beat the game by following all the directions it gives you is it then says, hey, I'll leave you alone if you make copies of the game and you send it to other people because this game thrives off of other people suffering.
Right. So the point of the game is when you choose and somebody else gets hurt, you get better or you get more power. So the more you hurt people, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the better your life becomes. You don't get sick. Because he had a whole mansion after that. He had a whole mansion and everything. And so now Kayla's the one playing this game. And she goes through situations and scenarios, which it's crazy. The part where her mom it gets wrapped up in the game, and she doesn't choose who gets wrapped up in the game when she's playing it. The game chooses. So it decided to pick on her mom and have her get attacked by a giant rat in her apartment. A whole giant rat. And she had to try to guide her mom around the house, around the apartment to avoid getting eaten by this rat. And eventually her mom jumped out the window. Because that was the only way she had to go. It was the only way she could go. So she was like, Mom, jump. No, I was like... There was nowhere else for her to go. Almost cussed. She was like, what? I ain't jumping out the window. There's a giant rat. You either gonna get eaten through the door, or you gonna jump. Her mama jumped, and she jumped. Baby, she survived. It was like 4 floors? Yes, I don't know how she survived, but she apparently did. So all these things keep going on. Where Kayla's locked to this game, she gets Isaac wrapped into it. He doesn't believe her at first. Then he does see for himself that this game changes reality. Right. Because the tagline of the game is reality is cursed. Cursed. And so it changes things around you because you're in the game to make you believe that these things are actually happening. And they feel real. It looked real to me. It even brought her little brother back. And she had to really choose between her brother and Isaac at one point. And how you feel about that? Because I've already lost my brother. Why wouldn't I choose him? But she had to really realize that her brother
was already dead.
Was already gone.
So you have to choose Isaac at this point. You know what I'm saying?
It kept messing with her like that. And so she's still, at this point, she's playing it to survive. But she started playing it because of the $100,000
Right.
that he claimed to give her.
Right.
But there's a lot of other things that go on. And towards the end, we meet back up with the family from the beginning that was playing the
With
game.
the little boy with the missing tongue and all that.
And that becomes her boss battle. And she has to beat him
In order to win the game.
So they go through that. It's a crazy twist.
It took me a while to get into it.
The way they tried to explain how this curse got into the game.
Because I was confused.
The person who originally found this curse and decided to put it in the game, that part is a little confusing. That's a little fuzzy to me. So if any of y'all watch it and you can understand what exactly happened there, let me know.
Who, please?
Because I get kind of confused I kind of hate it when movies can't decide if the cause of what's happening is supernatural or metaphysical, or if it's technology, or if it's just somebody being evil.
Right.
Like it mixes all these things together. Like if it's aliens, just tell us it's aliens.
Right.
If it's an evil spirit, just tell us it's an evil spirit. Don't mush things up between the two.
They don't mushed it all together. You don't know what's going on.
I can't tell exactly how this curse
and
happened.
why he started. Because I know that when he first started the game, he felt like the power after the man ate his arm or whatever. And so I'm like, who thought of that?
They flash back to 1984. The developer of this cursed game somehow awakened the curse and got it onto himself and decided and figured out how to put it in a video game to get it off of him. But the twist was he also discovered in order to keep the curse off of him, he had to keep causing harm to other people.
Right.
So that's why one of the options in the game is you have to make copies and give it to other people.
Right.
So he became wildly successful.
Right.
And was still alive, of course, while this was going on because Kayla got a chance to meet him. And it's it's another twist as far as how their lives collided.
Right.
But I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. I really, really did. There's a few things in it that were kind of confusing, but it could have been done worse.
I'm on the fence on whether I liked it or not because it just took so much for me to understand what was going on.
Yeah, it's even weird to explain, honestly.
Yeah, so it's like I had to watch it in order to know what was going on, but maybe I had to watch it to see if I enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get to enjoy the movie because I was just so lost on, okay, let me go back because what happened there, it was a lot. It was a lot for me. And yeah, like I said, it took a while to get into it and to understand it. And maybe I need to watch it again to maybe try to enjoy it. So I'm not going to give it a hot. I'm not really going to say not because, you know, I usually watch movies to be entertained.
Yeah.
And this one, it worked me. I felt like it was a job. I was so tired when I got done with this movie because
she was like, I'm so very tired.
Oh my God.
You make me so very tired.
It was tiring. It felt like a job.
No,
I want it to be entertaining for me. So I'm a twirl it. It's not hot. It's not. I just can't. I can't.
I don't think hot or not describes it perfectly for me either. I think I'm kind of in between because it did feel like a little bit more work to enjoy it as a movie.
Yeah.
I do appreciate, though, I will still say that I appreciate how it was shot and how it was done. Like, I feel like they did a really good job of, they had a clear vision of the scenes that they wanted to use and how to, even the parts that were super gory were done very, very well. I've seen a lot of horror movies. There was a point in time where me and my sister watched so many horror movies. We had like a wall full of them. And we were just like really into it for a while. So I appreciate how that was done. But if you're gonna have to answer why at some point, you gotta be prepared with a clear answer. If you're gonna even broach it, you know, it's okay if you just say, it's evil, fine, whatever.
Right.
It's an evil game. You know, whatever.
But it was more than that.
And they tried to make it more than that, and the way that they explained it was missing some stuff. So I'm gonna do a kind of in between.
We twirling today. We twirling.
Yeah, we twirling and we shaking it a little bit on that one.
Yes.
And I don't really have that much of a problem with it, but it was a bit of a chore to kind of stay with it.
And keep in mind the DSL with the big back computer screens is where the focus is.
That's hilarious.
And so yeah, if you can get past that,
You got something.
You got something.
So let us know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. It helps support our channel and us. And we'll have a popcorn review for you soon. You know, your support helps us buy popcorn. So it's very important.
And we really appreciate it.
And we really appreciate it. But we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
And welcome to GCU Reviews.
Getting closer.
What's hot and what's not.